In our birth chart, Chiron represents the wounds in which we heal in others, but not necessarily in ourselves. And so understanding the sign that our Chiron is in can help us overcome our worthiness blockages that keep us from living the lives we want to and manifesting success. So in this video, I want to give you your complete rundown into what it means to have your Chiron in the sign of Cancer so that you can live an empowered life. Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Isabel, your spiritual rebel friend, and today we are talking about what it means to have your Chiron in the sign of Cancer in your birth chart. In today's video specifically, I'm going to cover Chiron Explained as a general overview, the Cancer Archetype Explained, Chiron in Cancer Explained, Chiron in Cancer through the houses, and how to apply this knowledge. So if you are someone who not only likes to take in the information of astrology, but know what to do with it once you have acquired it, watch through to the end of this video where I'm going to share some of my top tips for healing your Chiron and Cancer wounds. Before we dive any deeper into this specific Chiron placement, be sure to book a reading in the link in the description below, where in 1 hour we can dive deep into any and everything about your chart, regardless of whether you're a complete newbie or advanced astrologer. In this 1 hour session, we can go into anything, including transits, love reading, career reading, your horoscope for the upcoming month or year, how Chiron is affecting your chart, and so much more. Sky is the limit. If you like these interpretations and you want to hear a specific interpretation about your chart and use it to your benefit to live the life you love, book a reading down below. And also check out my other offerings, including my 30-minute full moon or new moon horoscopes. We will have a full moon on the 12th of the month, I believe, of April, if you're interested in that. And I also have ongoing astrology coaching membership where you get personalized monthly guidance for all the transits headed your way based off of your unique astrological birth chart and your unique desires so that you can manifest the success you crave in your life from a place of clarity. So astrology coaching, learn more down below. Check out my other resources down below. Check out my astrology course and my other astrology workbooks. Now, let's dive into this specific Chiron placement. To best explain what it means to specifically have your Chiron in this sign, I'm going to bring back an old video first to talk about what Chiron is as an asteroid in the first place in your chart, and then we'll come back to present day filming, so to say, to talk about what it means to have Chiron in this specific sign. So first and foremost, what is Chiron? Chiron is not a planet, it is an asteroid that we can find in our birth chart. And it'll look like a circle with a K on it, or how I see it, it's a key, which is the key to healing. Chiron is known as the wounded healer. And what it represents, simply put, is the wounds that we heal in others, but don't heal in ourselves. You can imagine with the story of Chiron, this idea of almost a medic on a battlefield who is going around tending to others' wounds, while they're at the same time have their own wounds that are causing them to bleed out, but they're not taking care of it. And so whatever sign Chiron is in our chart represents that wound we go about healing in others and tending to, but we are not healing within ourselves. The sign that your Chiron is in specifically tells you what archetype you have wounds associated with. So for example, if someone's Chiron was in Cancer, maybe they feel wounds associated with being nurtured. However, they seem to be the most nurturing people you know. So Chiron, at its root in many ways, this idea of having this wound that we heal in others but not in ourselves has a lot to do with worthiness. It tells us what we feel we are unworthy of giving ourselves, and yet at the same time we tell everyone else that they are worthy of. So working through your Chiron, understanding the sign your Chiron is in, as well as the house, tells you what the wounds are that you heal in others but not in yourself, and can also tell you what worthiness blockages may keep you limited. By not healing your Chiron, this could play out as feeling an emotional sense of woundedness. This could cause projecting our emotions onto others. This can cause us, simply put, because we're not feeling worthy, to become a blocker for our manifestations. So if you feel like there's certain manifestations that you've been working towards that haven't been coming through, it is possible it's because your Chiron wound that is causing unworthiness has not been fully healed. But given that it is something we heal in others, in many ways, Chiron can be a gift to the world. It is something that you can help others heal, truly. But we can only do so and truly do our best healing work when, of course, we heal that within ourselves. After all, a medic bleeding out on the battlefield trying to tend to others' wounds is eventually going to find that they have to take care of themselves in order to continue to heal others. So what is the Cancer archetype? Cancer is the final of our initial 4-piece set, in the sense that we have 4 elements within our chart: fire, earth, air, and water. And this repeats 3 times through for therefore 12 zodiac signs. And so water is the final element of the set that we interface with, which symbolically represents that the final thing we do once we establish desire, stability, and intellect, now we want emotional fulfillment. And therefore that is what makes us human. We need this final step. So Cancer, being the first water sign, first emotion sign we interact with, represents this very toddler-like engagement with emotions, which is oftentimes, if we simply think about the Cancer archetype, this is why we hear that it's very much the mother archetype or the child archetype, or someone who has a Cancer sun or moon may be a bit childish with their emotions and very much just childish in general, taking an innocence to life. Cancer as an archetype is meant to simply feel. Hence why the mantra associated with Cancer is I feel. And so what Cancer is as an archetype is this basis understanding of feeling. They simply just move based off of emotion. There's no further analysis or awareness needed other than what you're feeling is what you're feeling. Cancer, simply put, also represents our initial interaction with emotions, which is the very first interaction we have with emotions as we are raised in this world is through our mother and through our parents, those who support us. So there's this nurturance that is a theme for the Cancer archetype, nurturing our emotions, being nurtured emotionally, being soft, sensitive, gentle. So Cancer really represents this soft archetype of the mother and the child, an honest, simple, authentic expression of emotions, acting on how you feel, embracing your sensitivity, and both being nurtured and giving nurturance. So given all this in mind, this Cancer archetype as an overview, what does it mean specifically to have your Chiron, the wounded healer, and our worthiness blockages in the sign of Cancer? So if you have your Chiron in the sign of Cancer, and hopefully I will remember to put some dates over the screen of what period you need to be born in to have a Chiron in Cancer, I would think that this is someone who overall feels a deep sense of woundedness for the fact that they have emotions, simply put, that they want to channel and embrace. And yet this is someone who 110% encourages other people to just embrace their feelings, simply in the most mundane way, in the sense of, this is probably the person I'd imagine who goes around saying, well, hey, if you feel sad, that's okay, feel sad. If you feel happy, that's okay, feel happy. This is someone who is naturally encouraging to other people's emotional body, emotional being, who encourages other people to embrace whatever it is they feel without having to change what they feel. From this state of nurturance, this is probably an overall fairly nurturing person, regardless of your other placements. And I would say that based off of your Mercury, this will change exactly how this comes out. But overall, someone who has a Chiron in Cancer, it is indicated that you have an ability to heal wounds in others associated with embracing, expressing emotions, and also nurturing themselves. But you yourself, you may struggle with this concept of embracing your emotions and nurturing yourself in emotional ways. I would say that it's very insightful for this person who has a Chiron in Cancer to specifically look into their moon sign, because this will tell you what you need for nurturance and what you need for emotional fulfillment and how you naturally embrace your emotions. So for example, if you are also a moon in Cancer, there's definitely some strong wounds around your emotions for you. Whereas maybe if you're a moon in Virgo, you're going to already have a practical approach to your emotions. And so this idea of feeling into your feelings is going to be a bit misconstrued and a bit strange. Overall, a Chiron in Cancer feels a sense of wounds around Cancer topics, which is wounds around nurturance, sensitivity, emotional awareness, emotional expression, and gentility. These are the dominant traits of Cancer. And so with Chiron being in Cancer, this person may feel that these are qualities that are hard for them to embrace and yet encourage in other people. I'd imagine this is the person who naturally, to some degree, takes on, in some realm of life, this almost either coach or mom friend mentality. This is someone who naturally has an open, energetic container to allow others to vent their emotions, which may lead to, in this case, a Chiron in Cancer feeling like they're constantly getting the emotions thrown on them and life stories that they don't need to hear. But a Chiron in Cancer has the ability to heal the wound in others of, I wasn't allowed to express my emotions, and you just listened and accepted me for my emotions. Overall, a Chiron in Cancer is someone who accepts emotions on a deep level and encourages other people to just accept their own emotions because they see that to feel it is the best way to let it go. There's also this idea of heightened sensitivity and nurturance and need for nurturance associated with a Chiron in Cancer. You may encourage other people to only surround themselves with people who nurture them, or to nurture others, encouraging people to be giving, encouraging others to embrace their sensitive side that needs to be taken care of. But you may feel like you yourself are not allowed to be nurtured. You have wounds associated with being nurtured. And so to allow yourself to receive emotional support, whether that is through a listening ear or through physical help, is very, very challenging for you. So overall, a Chiron in Cancer is going to be someone who has wounds associated with both their own emotional process and their ability to give and receive nurturance. And yet at the same time, this is something that they heal in others. But given that there's so many different traits to Chiron in Cancer, it really depends on what house your Chiron in Cancer is in. So now I want to take the next few minutes of this video to talk about what it means to briefly have your Chiron in Cancer in each house. And it's going to be, like I said, very brief. So if you want me to go deeper into any of these specific aspects, any of these specific combinations, let me know in the comments below, and I'll be sure to film either a YouTube short or a whole YouTube video talking about Chiron in Cancer in a specific house. So if your Chiron is in Cancer and in first house, you feel a sense of woundedness for appearing like a soft, gentle, nurturing person, and yet you encourage other people to wear their heart on their sleeves, be sensitive, appear gentle, appear soft. If your Chiron is in Cancer and in second house, this means that you encourage other people to spend on the things that bring them emotional satisfaction and security, and to ground their sense of self-worth into their emotions, basically saying, feel how you feel, you are worthy, but you yourself feel very strong worthiness blockages, and like you shouldn't spend on the things that make you feel good. If your Chiron is in third house and in Cancer, you probably want to embrace a emotional way of communicating, sharing how you feel on a day-to-day basis, being very vulnerable and authentic on a day-to-day basis, even in the most lighthearted conversations, and yet you feel you shouldn't. You have a wound around this, but you encourage other people to do so. Wear your heart on your sleeve in your day-to-day life is what you tell them, but you yourself cannot. If your Chiron is in Cancer and in fourth house, this is in its home sign. So you feel this true deep sense that everyone should deserve to feel nurtured at home. Everyone should live a soft way of life, to spend time at home, spend time with those who nurture them, who embrace who they are, who allow them to be sensitive and authentic. But you yourself don't deserve to embrace this. You feel as if you don't get to have a place to rest your head, to be soft, to be gentle, to be sensitive, specifically in matters of home, where you live, and your family. If your Chiron is in Cancer and in fifth house, you naturally want to take a soft, gentle approach to both dating and to your creativity, embracing emotional expressions, emotional creative expressions specifically. But you cannot embrace this, you feel, yet you encourage other people to do so. You encourage other people to wear their heart on their sleeve, once again, in early dating, and also to pursue the pleasures, the creativity, the passion, the fun that feels good to them. Whether that is going out for ice cream, staying home, indulging. You encourage an emotionally secure, satisfactory indulgence that nurtures people, but yet you feel you cannot just do the things that make you feel good. If your Chiron is in Cancer and in sixth house, this is probably someone who feels that they should not prioritize themselves, emotional security on a day-to-day basis, and emotional connection. Yet you encourage other people to connect with others on a day-to-day basis, follow their feelings on a day-to-day basis, do emotional journaling and emotional awareness practices on a day-to-day basis. To tune into their emotions, simply put, on a day-to-day basis is something you heal in others, but you don't allow yourself to embrace. If your Chiron's in Cancer and in 7th house, you're probably someone who encourages others to form emotional connections to their friends and romantic partners, but you feel that you yourself should not be allowed to express your emotions in the most simplistic way in your relationships. This is probably someone who feels that they cannot simply just say to their partner, I just feel this way. They feel like they're going to be judged for just expressing any sort of emotion. Yet you encourage other people to be accepted and embrace their emotions in their relationships, to say, I feel sad when I feel sad, and be supported and nurtured for that. Yet you feel you won't be nurtured for that yourself. Similar themes will present themselves for those who have a Chiron in Cancer and in 8th house. However, the big difference here is you feel that as a Chiron in Cancer and 8th house, that the best way to intimately connect with someone, which intimacy isn't always sexual, is through emotional connection, through sharing your heart, wearing your heart on your sleeve, being vulnerable, sensitive, authentic. But you feel you cannot embrace this. You feel wounded around this, and yet you encourage other people to do so. You encourage other people, connect with your partner by sharing how you feel. Wear your heart on your sleeve. Allow yourself to nurture and be nurtured in an intimate relationship. That is what intimacy will be built on, is your philosophy. Yet you feel this is something you cannot embrace. If your Chiron is in 9th house and in Cancer, you probably feel this sense that you tell everyone else that you should find personal beliefs, philosophies, and way of living that feels emotionally good to your soul, to nurture yourself, to embrace religious beliefs, personal beliefs, lifestyles that nurture you emotionally. And even if they're not overcomplicated, but you yourself feel like you can't take this approach to your way of living and the beliefs that cultivate your way of living. So this could be, maybe you encourage other people to travel in emotionally supportive ways, to do things that are gentle and relaxing. Or maybe it's you encourage other people to choose the beliefs that work for you. Who cares if you don't want to be Buddhist? Go be Christian or something like that. But you yourself feel like you can't take this emotional, sensitive, nurturing approach to your own personal beliefs and life's meaning. If your Chiron is in Cancer and in 10th house, you're probably someone who encourages others to be gentle and sensitive and nurturing in their career, whether that's nurturing themselves through their career or nurturing others. But you feel you cannot embrace this. You feel like you cannot be a nurturing person in your career, and you feel like you don't deserve to have a career that allows you to wear your heart on your sleeve and be nurtured. If your Chiron is in Cancer and in 11th house, you probably want to be a nurturing person to your community, yet feel you can't. And you want to receive nurturance from your community, yet you feel you can't. But you encourage other people, you heal this wound in other people by telling them you deserve a community that supports you. You should be able to trust your community. You should be able to wear your heart on your sleeve in your community and find a sense of purpose and meaning in the world that resonates with who you are and with your emotions. And finally, if your Chiron is in Cancer and in 12th house, you probably feel this sense that other people deserve to have a deep, solitary, emotional connection to themselves, that it's okay for people to spend time alone, to connect with how they feel, to introspect, to observe their emotions. Yet you feel that this emotional introspective process is something that you cannot do since you have wounds associated with it. So with that all being said, what do you do with this information? I want to take the last few minutes of this video to provide some quick tips for a Chiron in Cancer to heal their wounds. The first thing I recommend to all Chiron signs that can be the most helpful when trying to overcome your Chiron wounds is to observe where or when these qualities trigger you. And this is where it helps to know what house your Chiron in Cancer is in, because this can help you know where to be aware of when these wounds present themselves. Meaning that if your Chiron is in Cancer and in 10th house, observe in your career. When do you see other people getting to be Cancerian, be emotional, sensitive, soft, and how does that trigger your own wound? Or when is it you are, maybe it's in your 7th house. When do you see other people getting to be soft and sensitive with their partner? When do these wounds come up for you, simply put? And again, the house can help with that, because the first step to healing your chironic wound is by being aware of when it presents itself. When do you feel this wound gets touched? When do you feel that this wound gets reminded, see, this is why you can't embrace this? It can sometimes help to look back to childhood. However, chironic wounds aren't necessarily always associated with childhood. For some people, it just feels like an energetic imprint. At least it has been for me. And then also with that, the next step with that is to the idea of healing in others to heal yourself. Sometimes the best way to heal yourself is to heal others. Everyone is a mirror. And so healing these wounds in others is going to be a natural ability of yours. It is, after all, Chiron, the wounded healer. So observe how you go about healing these wounds in other people around Cancer energy. Where do you encourage other people to embrace their emotions? How do you nurture people? How do you encourage others to nurture? Where do you embrace and accept and encourage others' sensitivity? Where do you embrace compassion, care, and soft gentleness towards life and towards others? How do you see that you heal these specifically? Observing the words that you present and the energy you present to encourage other people to embrace these Cancerian traits can help you understand how you yourself can embrace these as well. And finally, the third thing I'd recommend, which is always a necessary step in the healing journey, which is take different action. Once you understand where your wounds are coming up and how you heal them in others, now taking an active approach to changing your behavior is what is needed to heal this Chironic wound. After all, this is a worthiness thing. So what would the worthy version of you do? If you believed you were worthy of anything, how would you embrace this Cancer energy? Again, noting the house it's in by embracing these Cancerian traits in a certain area of life. Overall, Cancerian traits as a summary are embracing sensitivity, saying simply, I feel blank, owning your emotions, wearing your heart on your sleeve, embracing the fact that you want to be nurtured and nurture others. Embracing this nurturing motherly quality is extremely healing for all Chiron and Cancers, regardless of the house it's in. The house tells you where exactly you can best embrace this. So let me know, Chiron and Cancers, in the comments below. Did this video help you understand what it means to have your Chiron in Cancer? Has it brought up more questions than answers? Did the house resonate for you? What house is your Chiron in Cancer in? What did I miss? What resonated for you? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and stay tuned for more videos breaking down the stars and more. Let me know if this echo was annoying. I've heard in previous videos that the echo for some people is actually kind of nice, but I can change my film studio a bit if this echo is really annoying for you. I love hearing your guys' feedback. Your feedback helps so much. It is so appreciated. So let me know how you felt about sound quality for this video, and let me know what you want to hear about next on the channel. Hopefully I will wrap up this entire series on Chiron through the signs, and then I have an opportunity to talk about something else potentially as well. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, my name's Isabel, and from my heart to yours, namaste.